welcome in now Andre Dawson. Andre, Mike Francesa in New York. Thank you for giving us a couple of minutes here. And it was just a week ago when you did mention to that vast audience up in Connecticut to remember Gary Carter in your prayers.
Yes, it was on my mind. It was a cancer fundraiser, and everyone pretty much was aware of what Gary was battling. And I had been kept abreast of his condition probably since he was first diagnosed, but more so the last couple of weeks, being that he was given a week to 2 weeks to live after being diagnosed. I re-evaluated 3 weeks ago. I was with him at his fundraiser, his autism fundraiser for his grandson, and I couldn't believe just how much his condition had deteriorated since I had previously saw him back in December. And it was touching. It was a phone call I dreaded. I knew it was day to day. As I mentioned, the days ahead were bleak, and I just had, it was gut wrenching, but it was something that we kind of prepared for because we know the inevitable was just a matter of time.
When you think back to those days and the fans remember yourself, Tim Raines, Ellis Valentine, Cromartie, Gary, wonderful talent on that Expo team. When you think back to Gary Carter on your Expos team, what comes to mind?
Well, there are a few things. First, he was a Christian. He was the baseball chapel leader for that organization. He was a Christian first. He was faith-driven, and he loved his family, his kids, his wife, Sandy. Then he loved the game of baseball, and he played the game with a childlike enthusiasm. I think that kind of thrust the name the kid on him. But, all of those things were Gary Carter. And on top of that, everyone was aware of what his accolades were off the field. But he touched so many lives, so many young lives, and he did that at a young age. He was the unofficial spokesperson, probably the most popular Montreal Expo, because he took French classes and he tried to address the media and the fans in both French and English, and that was something that really stood out.
When you think about that team and you think about those days on that was a talented team, a team that Gary had left and won his one championship, but that was a collection of talent. You had wonderful teams in Montreal.
We did. We always had pretty good personnel to come up through the farm system. The scouting department did a pretty commendable job. But, it takes a little bit more than that. We couldn't get the key marquee free agent to come across the border to fill that one void that we needed. Despite the fact that, as you mentioned, we had a lot of talent. That was, I think, what was missing. And we were so close on numerous years, but I just always felt that in order for someone to really win a World Series, if it was going to happen, it was going to be a player probably going to one of the teams that seek the marquee individual in the middle of that lineup, which was the case with Gary going to the Mets. And New York Mets finally eventually winning the World Series after so long.
You were only there a little while longer than Gary, but when he left, was that tough on you when he left the Expos?
Well, at that point, you saw that the club had started breaking the team up. Cromartie was gone, Valentine was gone, and obviously for me, the writing was on the wall. Because they started to go in a different direction. But, yes, it was tough because, in essence, that meant the nucleus of what we started out with was starting to be dismantled.
We're talking with Hall of Famer Andre Dawson on the passing of Gary Carter. Gary spent 11 years in Montreal. He was there a long time. As we said, talented teams, then traded to the Mets, came up and won that 86 series. Andre went and had big years with the Cubs, great years with the Cubs in Chicago after staying one more year in Montreal. How would you describe to folks the Gary Carter you knew that we didn't know? What could you tell us about him that maybe the audience who watched him play here and saw his enthusiasm, saw the Gary Carter that we saw publicly, the man you knew that we didn't know that much about?
Well, I think what you saw was what you got with Gary, because he was no nonsense. He just seemed to have that infectious smile that would rub off on people. Some people took it the wrong way. I think that's what sort of put him in a different situation from a lot of people. You know, you have individuals, relationships in the game. People are always constantly in and out of your lives, but you have special relationships. Some are endearing, some you want to forget about. But Gary was one of those individuals that once you got to know him, you know, that's what you got. And he was a mentor. He was a mentor for a lot of people. He was one of those personalities, characters that I think every management team will want to have come up through the system and break into the big leagues, because he was no nonsense. He had an impeccable work ethic, and he played the game the way it was supposed to be played.